welcome to this course on ethical hacking. In this video we're going to be going over some command line basics in Linux. So rather than try to explain it so much, I'm going to hop into my terminal and show you what it is. So you don't have to follow along, but just to show you what I'll be talking about in the presentation is here I am in Linux, Kali Linux, and I click on this black little screen here called the terminal, and that opens this very basic looking window. And here it is. This is the command line interface. Now, if we were just looking at the normal desktop, that's called a GUI. It stands for Graphical User Interface. So if you ever see a program and it says GUI, that just means that you can see it on the screen. It's got a window and you can click around. The opposite of that is the command line interface. That's what we're looking at right here. Don't be deceived by how it looks. It's actually incredibly powerful. So how this works is you just type in commands, and we're going to go over some of these here in a few moments, but I want to teach you guys what an argument and a parameter is in a command. So like an example of a command, I usually like to start by typing pwd. That'll say print working directory, and it's going to tell me where I'm located. So right now I'm in the home Kali folder, if you see that. Another example of a command would be ls. That's just going to list the contents of the folder that I'm currently in. I hit enter, and it tells me that these folders are in the directory that I'm currently in, which is home Kali. So those are commands. Now I want to kind of go over what a parameter and an argument is. This will be important as we go forward.
Okay, so let's go over some command line basics that we'll be using for the rest of the course. So like we talked about, ls is a command that will just list all the contents of the directory that you're currently in. Shows folder contents. So if you just type ls and hit enter, it's going to tell you the files and folders that are in the directory that you're currently located in. We've got stuff like unzip. That's just going to decompress like a archive file, like a tar file or a zip file. Who am I? This is usually the first thing I type once I do hack onto a machine. I want to know what user did I land in, what user did I get my system, am I root, am I admin, displays current user. We've got cd, that will change directory. This is kind of how we navigate around into different folders. So like if I did cd/root, then I'm going to go into the root directory. pwd, we talked about that, it's print working directory. That'll just tell you where you're currently located. grep is a useful one that will search through like a text file, and like we'll use this after we run an nmap scan so that we can search for like all the hosts that are up, stuff like that. Search for a word or string in a file. Find, this is a useful one all the time, but we'll use it in our capture the flag when we're looking for flags. It locates a file and tells you where it's located on the file structure. So parameters and arguments. Okay, so there's this notion of, say if we were at the terminal and we typed in unzip, it needs to know what to unzip. So some commands take what's called, this is a parameter, f, that means I'm about to tell you what file to unzip, and then this would be the argument. The name of the file in this case would be file.zip. So the argument gets passed into the parameter, which gets passed into the program. So now it knows what file to unzip. Like some commands have to take an argument or a parameter, like cd, change directory. It needs to know what directory do you want it to change to. So in this case, cd would be the command and root would be the argument. So the argument gets passed into the program cd and it knows what directory you want to change to. No big deal. There are commands that don't take arguments, like ls. ls is just going to list the files and folders in the directory that you're in, but you can use a parameter. This would be like -a. That means I want you to list all the files, including hidden files. So this would be the command. This would be the parameter. You could also call it an argument, since there's no, sometimes it's ambiguous whether it's a parameter or argument, but it's also called a switch. When there's a parameter like this that doesn't have an argument after it, you call it a switch. So well done. In this video, we learned about the command line. We learned what a GUI is. It's just the graphical user interface instead of a command line. We learned some basic commands and the notion of parameters and arguments. Thank you so much for watching this course, and I'll see you in the next one.